Hi there, it's Catching from 3Ps. Thanks very much for joining me. This video is to help you choose equipment if you want to start stocking a home gym. So I'm a personal trainer, I'm a weight specialist, I'm going to give you a set of recommendations. I don't get any affiliate fees for this. These recommendations are my genuine recommendations based on my expertise as a personal trainer and as a weight specialist. So what am I going to cover? I'm going to talk about which dumbbells to buy, which clips to buy, which belts to buy, and which benches to buy. That would be the basics for a home gym where you want to do some weights. So this is the core of what you might buy to stock a home gym. So let's start with what dumbbells to buy. Now, I have in this gym lots of dumbbells, and they range from literally from a kilo or even half a kilo, I think, right up to 50 kilos. Now, you're not going to need that at home. When you're starting off, you probably need 3 different weights. If you're a woman, you probably need a 2 kilo weight, a 5 kilo weight, and a 10 kilo weight. If you're a man, you might start at 5 kilos, 5, 10, and 15, or 5, 10, and 20. The reason I suggest that you don't buy all at once is because as you start to train, you get stronger. So you may find that you're buying weights that are too light, or they work initially, but then they become too light. So what you can do is buy 3 and then just start filling in the gaps. Getting up to a range of between, say for a woman, 2 kilos and 20 kilos is probably optimum, and for a man between 5 kilos and 30 kilos is optimum. So as I said, buy a range. You don't have to buy everything at once, but buy more than one weight so you've got some flexibility. Now, what brands would I recommend? Well, this is just my own personal view based on what I like to handle. All my dumbbells are by York, which is a British company. Why do I like them? I like the feel of them in my hands. The central grip is not too wide, so it feels comfortable in my hand, and the end plates are circular. You can see, and you see all sorts of weird and wonderful shaped dumbbells. You see ones that are hexagonal at the end. Now, I understand why those sorts of shapes are quite useful, because they stop, for example, the dumbbell rolling away, but I personally don't like the feel in my hand, and I also think the corners are slightly dangerous. So if I were to put it down and bump into it, it's got a corner on it. And I'm just old school. I like my dumbbell to have a circular end, and as I said, the brand that I really like is York. I'll put a link to the York website beneath this, but anything with that type of shape, have a look at. The other point I'd make about dumbbells is dumbbells generally don't degrade or damage, so they are well worth looking for second hand. Even if they're a bit rusted up, it really doesn't matter, and you can get some good deals second hand on dumbbells. So rather than going out necessarily buying a whole set of grand spanking new dumbbells, particularly if you're short of cash or you don't really mind what they look like, then have a look second hand. It's probably a much better way to buy. Okay, so that's my recommendations in relation to dumbbells. Now, the other thing I would say is if you're going to have any sort of bar with plates on, then you're going to need some clips on the end, and I just have some comments about that. The basic clip, I've got an example here. Let me just find it for you. Hang on 1 minute, I'll get my clips for you. Right, this is a basic clip, okay? Now, you couldn't get simpler than that, really. It works by just squeezing with your hand like that, and it slips over the end. If you have a bar there, it slips over the end like that, okay, like that. Now, the point with the clip is, if you look, it's not actually completely straight, it's slightly angled. That's for safety, because what you do is when you slip the plate onto the bar, the clip goes on that way round to make sure the plate sits snugly. Often you see in gyms, you see men, generally men, lifting bars with plates on with no clips on, and that's incredibly dangerous, because if at any point that bar tips, either because you're not even or for whatever reason it tips and a plate slips off one end, the whole bar will flip this way, and I've seen it happen. It's massively dangerous when that happens, so please use clips. These will cost you nothing. These will cost like $1.50 for a pair, $1, $2 for a pair of these, so invest in these. You can get more snazzy clips. You can get clips that work with levers and clips that work with screws. And if you are a woman or you're into your gadgets, it's worth checking them out. The reason I say if you're a woman is because these clips are made for a male grip, so they're quite wide. So if you have small hands, they're more difficult to use. And whereas with a lever, it makes no sense in the difference what size your hand is. In terms of who I would recommend you look at, I think there's a really interesting company called Escape Fitness, who do all sorts of interesting equipment, and I love their equipment. I don't get paid to say that, I just really do love their equipment. I'll put a link to their website below, but it's called Escape Fitness, and they do other interesting clips that you can have a look at. Okay, so that's your clips, okay? Now I want to talk about weight belts. I think a lot of people think a weight belt almost is a fashion accessory, or they overuse weight belts in the gym. A weight belt is there for when you're doing very heavy work, and a weight belt is there for two reasons: either to protect your lower back, or to attach weights to when you're doing pull-ups. So the weight, let's talk about the one you use for pull-ups first. I'll put this down. A weight belt that you're using for pull-ups, you're going to wear it around your hips, and you're basically going to be on a pull-up bar, and you're going to be lifting up, and you're working your back. Okay, you're pulling up and you're working your back. Okay, and the point about having the plate is to increase the weight. So once you can do a set of 8 with a pull-up without any weight, you start adding weight to keep challenging your muscles, which is great. Those sorts of weight belts have a chain at the front through which you thread the plate. Now, I would suggest that those weight belts need to be leather, because you're hanging weights off them and you want something that's quite tough to handle. The only thing I would say about that is that leather weight belts work great for that, but they're not so great for protecting the lower back. This is based on my experience. The thing with a leather belt is, initially when you get them, they're quite stiff, and they don't mould to the body as easy as a neoprene one. Now I've got here, this is my weight belt, okay, this is made of neoprene, okay, a nylon, and the point about this is, it's soft, and it fits. If I put it on so you can see, it fits to your body really snugly, so you get a good fit and you get a good protection for your lower back, from day one, okay, so you fit it quite low, don't fit it too high up, you want to fit it quite low, and you want to, when you're lifting, you put it quite tight, so you're going to pull it like that, okay, and you're going to sit it quite tight against your hips. Let me just show you from the side, okay? So, this sits quite tight, and you can see it sitting on my lower back, all right? Now, the other thing with a neoprene belt, as you can see, is it has Velcro, so it is ultimately adjustable. A leather belt has obviously a buckle and holes, and if you are a small stature like me, they often are just not small enough. You end up having to make extra holes in the leather, and you start to get to really thick bits of leather. It just doesn't work. The best thing to do if you're a small stature, either male or female, is to go for a neoprene belt, because they're much more adjustable. The other thing I would say with these is obviously they're really, really quick to take on and off, because the tendency and the temptation in the gym is to wear a belt at all times. Guys like to wear belts because they think it makes their chest and their shoulders look big, so they'll wander around the gym, they'll put their belt on and then wander around like this in the gym. Now, that's just silly, because the belt is there to protect your lower back. If you're wearing it all the time, you're actually resting the whole core of your body, when actually your core should be being used while you exercise. So I would, if you want to keep the belt on, I would loosen it while you're doing anything other than a deadlift or a squat. Because you can deadlift and squat, you come up to the bar, you're ready to lift, you then immediately tighten it. You go and do your, whatever it is, your deadlift and your squat, and then you loosen. Okay, so it does its job without interfering with what you're trying to do the rest of your workout. So the brand of this belt which I use is called Ocelot, and the reason I use it is simply because the first belt I ever got that was the right size, and I had struggled to find one, was Ocelot, so I tend to stick with Ocelot because they do a belt in small. But if you're a woman, you're looking for a belt in small, you may struggle to find a female weight belt because they are quite difficult to find, but if you find a small, it should be okay. The other thing with a belt that you just need to be aware of is that you don't want the belt to be too wide. So when it sits on your waist, you don't want it to feed up towards your ribs, and the reason for that is because you need to have a range of movement. So you can see this one's actually really good fit on me, because the bottom of my ribs are here, and the belt does not interfere with it, so I can bend, I can do deadlifts, and I'm not actually having the belt creeping up here, because the belt is meant to protect my lower back, that's all. It's not a corset, it's literally just to protect my lower back, okay? So that's what I say in relation to belts. The last piece of equipment I wanted to talk about was the bench. Okay, now in this gym, if I just step out of the way, you can see I've got a bench here, okay? This is an old school, this is my favourite bench, this is an old school Cybex bench, okay? Now the reason I love it, just put that out of the way, the reason I love it is because it's heavy, which makes it safe, and it's really, really easily adjustable. It doesn't have any fancy systems for lifting bits up. You literally just pull a knob and pull. So at the front, for example, I don't have to bother about the knob, I can just lift at the front like this. That's it, that's how simple it is, okay? And the same with the back, I can just literally wait for the noise. I can just lift it like that, okay? That's perfect, isn't it, okay? So, Cybex I would recommend. As I said, I get no affiliate commission or anything for recommending them. my experiences as an old school weightlifter, I really think Side-X are the best. They are expensive, even new ones are expensive. The first thing I would say is have a look on eBay or other marketplaces for second hand, because again with benches, to some extent it doesn't really matter how they age. If they're still working, it doesn't matter how battered they look. It's more important that you get the right bench that you get than you spend your money on something that looks pretty. You know, I've gone into people's home gyms and seen these benches they've got, which are on these sort of, you know, flimsy bits of metal feet, and the whole thing is unstable. And if you sit on that bench and try and do a shoulder press, a one-arm shoulder press, for example, this movement, when you're taking weight asymmetrically, the whole bench will tip. You know, I want to sit on a bench that feels ultimately stable, and the heavier the better. Now if you think, well, how on earth do you move it? Of course the bench will have wheels at one end or the other, so you can lift and wheel it, okay? But for once I would say go as heavy as you can on benches, and if you can afford new, then use your money on that more than anything else. If you have to buy everything else second hand, then do, but invest in a really good bench. Okay, so those are my recommendations in terms of equipment. You can find the written recommendations with links on the website. I'm going to put the link, I'll probably put the link on the screen here, and I'll put the link beneath. I hope that's been helpful. If you have any particular questions about home exercise, gym exercise, what you should train, motivation, whatever it may be, just drop me a line. Either put a comment below this video, you can send me an email at hello@3pspublishing.com. You can put a comment if you want, or a question onto our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/3psmedia. All the links I'll put below. Share this video if you've got friends who are interested in stocking a home gym. Like this video, and please subscribe. It'd be great to have you. I know your time's precious, so I'm hoping that what I produce is useful for you, and I hope it's motivational. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.